Look at me piling up all those E ranks. You're in the presence of a professional gamer. Ugh. So, Strider is back again and he's going to Antarctica. He's gonna meet Blaze the movie fan. Oh wait, no, Blaze the movie fan lives in Iceland, not Antarctica. But wouldn't it be funny if he did? The jokes practically write themselves. Strider from Strider 2, what are you doing in my home? I feel like that impression kind of fell off midway through and it just turned into Dexter from Dexter's Lab. You guys know about Blaze the movie fan, don't you? Iceland's favorite, possibly autistic movie reviewer. He made that that video with it's Alex de Lion from Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. This might sound a bit hard to believe, but I actually had a slim chance of meeting Blaze the movie fan on a Discord call earlier this year. Things didn't pan out, unfortunately, and I never did get to meet him, but imagine if I had. Two people with weird-sounding voices together on one video. Would have been more fun than a barrel of monkeys. Okay, so next up we've got the Olaf Wall. There's probably a certain section of people out there who can't see the name Olaf without thinking of that faggy Disney movie. Somebody just unsubscribed right now, I can tell you that much. But yes, the world was enamored with that snowy cartoon character for many years. Isn't he just the funniest guy around? Oh my god. Anyway, so we don't have to fight this helicopter right now. But if we do, its health bar will be lower when the fight actually starts in a minute here. Inventive game design, ooh. Any second now. See, look at that, it's already half empty. Or half full, depending on who you ask. This'll be easy now. It'll be as easy as pissing off Twitter. Don't you talk shit about pancakes. And there we go, a helicopter crash. Remember in a regular show when they were trying to come up with names for their new band and one of the suggestions was helicopter crash? I think another one was mustache cash stash. Feels like season 1 in regular show they just tried to force a lot of memes. I feel like the writer's room was saying, okay, if we say this in a funny way, that'll be the next big meme, and it never happened. You just can't force things to take off in internet world. Just not gonna happen. Yeah, unfortunately that health power-up spawned in a spot where it's too high. Not even a double jump is enough. And in case you forgot that this was a PS1 game, they're gonna hit you with something with all sorts of polygons on it. Insert Ice Age reference here. I was never really big into the Ice Age franchise, to be honest. Here, as a fun exercise, I'm gonna try to describe what I know about Ice Age without consulting any kind of reference materials or articles. Here we go. Ice Age was released in the past, and children and adults went to see it in theaters, and they liked how Ray Romano's character sounded all funny, and he was all... You guys ever see that Family Guy skit where it was a Ray Romano and Kermit the Frog and some third guy who sounds like that, and they're all going the whole time? Good stuff. Anyway, that's about all I know about Ice Age. Not that this is particularly valuable information, but I know that there was something of a small controversy many years ago when the Game Grumps did an episode of Ice Age 2, the game, and somebody was all, "Don't talk shit about Ice Age. Ice Age 2 means so much to me. You chuds don't understand." Okay, and now the gravity's flipped. It's feeling very VVV in here. Hopefully you're familiar with that franchise, otherwise you're just gonna think I'm talking crazy, just making noises. This is actually quite hard to do, because the controls are flipped. I mean, yeah, obviously, why wouldn't they be, but that makes things much harder in theory than in practice. They sure do cram a whole lot of stuff into these levels, huh? Just out of nowhere. Hey, whoa, gravity's upside down now. Deal with that. But I would expect no less from the fine folks at Capcom. They've always been a talented bunch. Well, maybe not always. There was that one dark period where they were trying to sort of, for lack of a better term, emulate what the Western studios were doing, and they put out some really bad games over that period. I think the issue really peaked when they had that Devil May Cry where they tried to redesign Dante's look to make him look like a drug addict. And there was also that Dead Rising game, not the original, but the one that was developed in Canada. The one that nobody liked. What is it with Canada and just putting out mediocre media all the time? You know, I was thinking the other day, there was this cartoon on Nickelodeon, Yakety Yak. I was just trying to play through what I remembered of it in my mind's eye, and I started to think, did Canadians make this? It just fits too well. It's just got that sort of mediocre energy to it. And I looked it up, and Canadians did indeed make Yakety Yak, so I was right on the money with that. I could tell just by looking at it. Well, not even looking at it, just by going over 20-year-old memories in the back of my mind. But yes, a big reason why so much mediocre television reliably comes out of Canada every year has to do with this sort of government program they've got going on where the Canadian government tries really hard to promote the arts, so to speak. And so any half-talented Canadian can get a TV show deal. And often what happens is that, TV contracts end up getting handed out to people who probably aren't quite talented enough to deserve them. And that's how we end up in the situation we are today. And how we end up with crap like Angela Anaconda, or Scaredy Squirrel, or Johnny Test, or all the others. So here's the gravity core. This is a fun idea. Because, this part's not so fun. The speed of the rotating lasers doesn't match your running speed. So if you just run normally, you're just going to run into them, which is unfortunate. And the gravity field changes, which I would imagine would have been hard to do on PS1. But it can be a bit of an irritant because suddenly it's up to move instead of left to right. But I managed to take him out before that became an issue. Okay, so next up we've got an abomination of some sorts. It was lying in wait here in the Arctic the whole time. Very Call of Cthulhu-esque. Did you guys ever read The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft? Good book. People are still making Cthulhu parodies, nearly 100 years later. There was that episode of Billy and Mandy where it was, I think it was just called The Call of Cthulhu, and the premise was that Cthulhu was going around making prank calls to the citizens of Ennsville, and they would get sucked into the phone afterwards, or something to that effect. That was a good episode. They had that one quote in the episode where Grimm couldn't remember what Irwin's name was, and he was crying, and Mandy came into the room, and what happened, and Billy and his ugly friend have been sucked into the telephone. Good stuff. I don't know if you can disable that claw by hitting it enough times. There's got to be some reason they let you hit it even though it doesn't reduce his health bar. But there's the old game design strategy, what was it? The old game design philosophy, dominant strategy, where the player's always going to take the easiest options, so Even if we could take out the tentacle, it'd be just faster to fight it the normal way, which we ended up doing. And there you go. We managed to rid Antarctica of the Kraken. The shit we gotta do for a grade. I actually heard somebody say that once in college when we were on a weird field trip and we had to wear waders and stand in the middle of a river and catch some kind of sea life. It's like a 40-year-old Hispanic dude. He's like, the shit we gotta do for a grade. Okay.